All right, for today's deep dive, we are jumping into a really fascinating text.
Definitely a thought-provoking one.
It's called Against Binarism, and the subtitle is 1 1 equals 0 equals 1, the Pramod Effect. It's by a Dr. Pramod Ambadasrao Pawar.
And it's a fairly recent text from 226.6. The whole mission of the book is right there in the title. It's trying to dismantle what he calls binarism.
That's our tendency to see everything in pairs, right? Like life versus death, science versus spirituality.
Good versus evil, light versus dark, exactly. We think of them as opposites.
But Dr. Pawar argues they're not separate and they're not fighting. He says they're just different expressions of one single source.
And he has this formula to prove it.
The 1 minus 1 equals 1, which, I mean, on the face of it, makes no mathematical sense.
It's more of a philosophical math. So let's break it down. The first part, the 1 minus 1, he calls that action minus reaction.
Okay, which we would normally say equals 0, end of story.
Right. But for Pawar, that 0 isn't nothing. It's not a void. It represents a state of neutralization or stillness.
He uses that chemistry analogy, which I thought was really helpful.
The acid and the base.
Yeah. You mix an acid and a base, two opposites, and they don't just, vanish.
No, they neutralize each other. They transform into something totally new, like salt and water.
A new unified state, so that's the 0 state.
That's the stillness. And from that stillness, oneness emerges. That's the final one in the formula. The core idea is that opposites are an illusion. Reality is a continuum.
He uses some really interesting examples to show how that line gets blurry. Let's talk about Titanic.
A great example. I mean, we see Jack's death as the absolute end, the binary opposite of life.
It's a hard stop, but the book argues that the energy of his connection with Rose, it persists. It continues through her memory, through her love.
So if that energy survives, the binary of alive versus dead kind of falls apart, doesn't it? It becomes this continuum of energy, not a final stop.
And this ties into his whole idea about science and spirituality. He contrasts Newton's apple with what he calls Dr. Pawar's apple.
Right. So Newton's apple falls. It obeys gravity, the material law. That's science.
But Pawar's apple rises.
It's a metaphor, obviously. It rises.
Yeah.
It represents consciousness, inner principles, sort of defying the gravity of materialism.
And he's not saying one is right and one is wrong?
No, not at all. They're just two different lenses for looking at the very same truth.
He even says art is the bridge between them. He mentions the singer Lata Mangeshkar.
Her voice becomes this immortal expression. When you're lost in music like that, you're not thinking in binaries. You're in that 0 state of stillness, just experiencing the one.
Okay, but this oneness, does that mean everything is just the same? Because, a world without variety sounds incredibly boring.
He addresses that. The formula actually expands. It goes from $1 right arrow text, many right arrow, 1 hour 1.
One becomes many, and many returns to one.
Exactly. He uses the ocean analogy. The ocean is the one, but it expresses itself as millions of different waves, the many.
Each wave is distinct, but it's still just water. It's still the ocean.
You see it in botany, too. Roots in the dark soil, leaves in the light. They seem like total opposites.
But they're working together. They're cooperative parts of a single plant, a single system.
Even predators and prey, in this view, aren't just enemies. They're part of a larger dance that maintains the balance of the whole ecosystem.
So the universal solution he's proposing is that most of our problems, social, emotional, they come from this binary thinking, from seeing us versus them.
We get stuck reacting instead of neutralizing. He believes that to solve these problems, we have to see the one in the many. You stop seeing an enemy and just see another wave in the same ocean.
There's this phrase he keeps repeating in the book that I found almost like a challenge. Only a few sensed it.
It really is. It's almost a call to action, isn't it? It's asking you, the reader, if you can look past the illusion of all this division and find that stillness.
It does make you wonder, though, if the ultimate goal is to return to the one, does that mean our individuality, the many, is the problem? Or is the many just the one trying to experience itself?
That is the ultimate question. I mean, perhaps the one would be pretty lonely without the many.
Something to think about. Thanks for diving in with us.